Welcome to the Kansas State Fair.
We went to Hutchinson, Kansas for the Kansas State Fair.
In this area, though.
That's fine.
No, that's fine. You want it longer.
We took a group of video students to the Kansas State Fair to compete in the Scholastic Press Corps competition. Students were required to create a 4-minute video show based on events that were happening at the State Fair. One of the new things that they added to the State Fair was a competition where you had to submit one of your video entries before noon. The State Fair committee took a look at the videos that were submitted by noon to see if they would be worthy of posting to the Facebook page represented by the Kansas State Fair, and one of our stories, one that was worked on by Oriana and Layla, qualified for that.
Students worked in pairs to film events and gather interviews.
I had a story that was 60 seconds and then another story that was 30. One of the stories I did with Sam, it was about a dairy cattle showing, and we just had to go around and ask the judges what they're looking for in dairy cattle. Oriana and I did a story about pig races. It was an extra challenge.
Creating an entire news show in one day proved to be challenging.
We barely got done in time, but it was okay.
Overall, the 4-minute competition piece that we turned in by the end of the day will be judged in the next few weeks, and we'll find out in October how well we placed. These kids did it. We had 3 minutes to spare on our deadline. They made it, and I'm real proud of the efforts they put into the State Fair, and hopefully we placed well.
Reporting for PTV, this is Sam Pruitt.
Dance break.
Students at the Phillipsburg Middle School came together to promote Socktober.
#Socktober.
We are doing Socktober.
Something that Kid President came up with, but we decided to take it bigger and beyond. You want to donate socks, coats, hats, gloves, and scarves, but mostly socks, to the homeless people around our area. We're just donating a whole bunch of stuff that the homeless people could need, and then we're going to give it to them.
We are donating to the Ashby House in Salina because that's our nearest shelter.
But all of our coats are going to go to local people who don't have coats.
In our science class, she always shows us like inspirational videos at the beginning of class, and we watched Kid President, and he had started the hashtag Socktober. So we wanted to kind of help him reach his goal and help us reach a goal too.
We've collected 146 socks and gloves and hats so far. Our original goal was 100 pairs, so we have already far surpassed our goal. So now it's just to keep collecting until next Wednesday to make the best. I tell my kids all the time that I need to teach you science, but I also need to help make you awesome adults, and so this is one way that I can do that.
For PTV, this is Samantha Pruitt. Trying to survive the zombie apocalypse, a few PHS students got some exercise along with some Halloween fun.
It's basically just a series of obstacles, and we have to get keys and try to get through without dying.
The zombie run was a 2-mile obstacle course with people pretending to be zombies scattered throughout it. And the obstacles were things like a tire run, flipping tires over, jumping over hay bales, and running under stuff, things like that. At the beginning of the race, like before we were actually started, we were given a belt with flags on it, and the flags were considered our lifelines, so we had to make it through the different zombie sections without losing our flags. Through the very last zombie section, my Uncle Lester and I both lost our last flag. The zombie one was a lot of fun. I definitely would not survive a zombie apocalypse because I got all my flags stolen close to the beginning after I got the first key. The hardest obstacle was probably flipping tires because Taryn and I were not strong enough to flip 2 of the tires by ourselves, so that we had to ask other people to help us with that.
For PTV, this is Samantha Pruitt.
PHS staff annually participates in a Secret Santa gift exchange.
Well, the first day I got a big mega bag of peanut M&Ms, which is like one of my favorite candies. And then the second day I have this Naughty and Nice cup full of like bathroom supplies and lotion and stuff. And then somebody that knows me, because they gave me 75 cents for a Mountain Dew. So they know I go in and get a pop in the teacher's room sometimes. I guess Mrs. Pockleby the first time, and then I guess Miss Weisar the second time.
I actually didn't receive anything on the first day, but then midway through the day yesterday, I received this basketball that says clue number 1 and some winter mint gum, leading me to believe that maybe my person had small children because they chose a small Nerf basketball, or maybe they coach or play basketball. Those were my thoughts when I received that one. Then later in the day yesterday, I was teaching away and I turned around to discover that someone had snuck in my room and left this picture, and I believe it is the mascot from Friends University. Looking at it, I would call it a cardinal because it's a red bird, but I think Friends refers to it as a falcon. Knowing, of course, that I also went to college in the KCAC and the Bethany Swedes rule over this bird. And that person gave me a cool blue Gatorade yesterday, also making me think they're somewhat sports related. So at this point, when I received these items late in the day yesterday, I decided my person must be Mr. Harris, which I'll just tell you is somewhat ironic because on the first day when I received nothing, I was actually busy sewing Mr. Harris's dress pants that day for him where he'd had a slight rip. And I thought to myself, if I need to do that again, I'll sew up the rip that he showed me, but I'll leave him a new hole somewhere else that he's unaware of.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
I've gotten, what did I get? Starbucks hot chocolate, some Reese's candy, or some Hershey Kiss candy, and a deck of playing cards.
The first gift that I got from my Secret Santa was a box of cold brew Lipton tea bags, and it did not have a clue with it, so I was a little bit in the dark there. The second day said the light will help me running early in the morning or late at night, and then yesterday's clue was they have seen me work out, and it was I received this punching bag. Well, at first I thought it was Mr. Fiscus, but I'm not sure about him. And then I thought maybe Mr. Kenny, but I don't think it's him either. Actually, I'm a little bit stumped.
Reporting for PTV, this is Mackenzie Martin.
Ten PHS art students travel to Plainville to participate in the MCL Art Contest.
We had a group activity where we had to draw and paint and use different materials to match a theme given to us by the judge.
Participants had a time limit of 3 hours, and their artwork had to represent a quote by Martin Luther King Jr.
It just happened to be that this was the week of Martin Luther King Day. It's kind of interesting because my youth, I grew up with Martin Luther King and that turmoil of that particular part of the civil rights movement. And so I thought, well, this would be interesting to use a quote that is always used, unheard, as a resource for our work.
I think the theme was really cool, and there were a lot of different ways that you could come up with an idea for a project for it. I think that we worked together really well, and I think it came together really good. I just wish we would have had more time.
The hardest part was keeping the paint and chalk from smudging everywhere. We had a lot of trouble trying to keep it all in one spot and a lot of erasing to get it out of the way.
I've never worked with other artists before to create one big project, and I really enjoyed the experience because there were all sorts of different ideas and concepts all mashed together, and it turned out really good.
I really enjoyed watching them work together. We need to learn how to pick up the pace. That's something I think we struggled with a little bit because we're used to having more time. So this was more of a time crunch because I know there was things that they would have liked to do on top of what they did. Well, as a team, I hope they appreciate each other's strengths and know that they can, if I need help with something, I can go and ask this person because they're good at this. I also hope that seeing other schools and their teams work was beneficial for them to see how they came up with ideas so they could see that different people work in different ways. Well, of course, I would hope we would win.
And that's exactly what they did.
First place winner for this will be Phillipsburg. First place.
Reporting for PTV, this is Samantha Pruitt. Bakery owner Linda Martin turned a passion into a business.
I started baking out of my home, and it's something I love to do. This particular location I've had for 20 years. Before that I had one in Smith Center for 2 years, and then in the bakery business I've been in about 26.
Bakeries, like 3rd Street Bakery, are becoming more scarce.
Bakeries like we do it, where we fry the donuts in the morning, no one gets up at 2 o'clock in the morning and starts making donuts. Not no one, but they're getting fewer and fewer. There used to be one in every town, now there's not.
Linda often employs high school students to help out.
My favorite part about working at the bakery is just the friendly atmosphere that we provide. Everyone comes in here with a smile, and that's really important when you're working in a restaurant. And also, I have some favorites that come in and see me every week, so that's really great too. I basically do everything besides cooking. Like, I clean up, I restock everything, like the pop machine, the tea, the coffee, like salt shakers, all of that. And I take orders, I fill donut boxes, I make donut boxes, and that's basically it.
Over the years, I've had a lot of high school employees, and it's always kind of nice. It kind of connects you to the community at another level. Most of my employees are older, so it's kind of nice having the young ones that can, work a little different.
Favorite part is seeing people that normally come in all the time and talking to them. It's a really great job, and you get more benefits than other jobs I heard around.
Choose something you love, because it's going to require a lot of your time, and especially food service type businesses, you really have to work some long hours, and if you don't like doing it, you're going to burn out really quick.
Reporting for PTV, this is Samantha Pruitt. The St. Louis Brass Quintet visited Phillipsburg earlier in March.
The St. Louis Brass, the Phillips County Arts Council put this on, and it was sponsored by them, and they contacted me about a month ago and told me that they was going to be coming. I was very, very excited because I knew they put on a tremendous show.
My favorite part of the St. Louis Brass Clinic was learning how to better control your airflow so you'll be able to play more beautifully and use your air to the best of your ability.
My favorite part of the clinic was hearing them play.
This is probably a biased opinion, but my favorite was the bass trombone because I'm a trombonist, and they talked about how they're going to have a soprano, alto, tenor, and bass trombone all up on stage at some point in time.
I like the French horn.
That's incredible. So there were a lot more other brass instruments long ago.
After the clinic, where music students learned breathing techniques and the history of brass instruments, the Quintet held a performance for the community. The concert included traditional instruments along with some unique ones as well.
I know everybody had a really, really good time, and I loved every song they played. I loved when they played the seashells. Happy Birthday on the Seashells was the coolest thing in the world. Then the history of all the instruments, and then their holiday, their last song that they played, that's one of my favorite songs of all time. So I really enjoyed the concert.
For PTV, this is Samantha Pruitt. The high school show choir held their annual benefit last weekend where they performed in groups, duets, and solos.
My favorite part about performing at benefit is getting to show to the community what we're capable of and what talent we possess within our group. My favorite song would probably have to be Shut Up and Dance because, first of all, I had a solo in it.
My favorite performance was Shut Up and Dance because we got to change out of our dresses and wear like different outfits, and it was just something really cute and fun to do.
The song that we performed the best this evening, I believe, was probably Lollipop, the girls' Valentine's song.
Our piano duet, that was Mrs. Iman's brainchild. So we got together and practiced, and we looked on YouTube for some inspiration, and just put her together. I had to practice a lot. I don't know about her. She probably had it nailed already, but had to make sure I was playing all the right notes at the right time while doing all the theatrics. So it was a fun challenge, and I was glad I got to do that with her.
Though some performances were silly and lighthearted, many had a deeper meaning.
For me, the meaning behind Soaked by Adam Lambert is just that sometimes life is rough and sometimes I do feel alone, and everyone gets that way, but friends are always there for me, and really I'm not alone ever.
My duet was Keep Holding On, and I sang that with Hannah Pugh.
Is there music? Is there art?
My solo this year was Dancing in the Sky, and that was a tribute to my mom.
So nice.
My mom always made it to all my benefits and my music contests and concerts, and that really inspired me to do a tribute to her so that she was in a way here.
Overall, I was very pleased with the students' performance. I think they really stepped up and gave a great performance. Some of these songs we've been working on all year. Some of the songs we just added within the last month or so. So it's kind of a culmination of all their work throughout the year at our benefit today, and I just really think they stepped up and gave it all they had, and it was a remarkable performance.
For PTV, this is Samantha Pruitt.
So hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, goodbye.
Golfers tee off at the Mel Schrimmer Invitational Meet held in Phillipsburg.
Well, the golf tournament's going pretty smooth so far. We had a little lightning to kind of worry about earlier on, but we didn't have to stop any play. It was north of town, and we should be down a good time tonight. The sun's kind of out now, and we should be good to go.
The golf team not only battled weather, but also tough competition.
There's some good teams here today. TMP's got a good team. Plainville's got a good team. Norton's playing well.
TMP played pretty well, I think. Norton had some good scores.
Coach Sides has high expectations for his senior golfers.
We need 3 seniors, Clay Ward and Cameron Tweedy and Blake Verbis, to play well today and on Thursday.
As a team, I think we're all shooting, rather low, but we could always improve.
Everybody was about in the 80s, so that's not bad.
My goal was to shoot 80.
If I par out right now, I shoot an 84.
I feel like I did pretty good. I mean, I came in thinking I'd shoot 75, a little higher than that maybe, and I ended up shooting a 73, so I thought I achieved my goal pretty well.
Phillipsburg placed 3rd in this tournament, but are aiming to place higher later in the season.
I'm hoping we can come out with the league championship. We know we got to play some good golf, so we'll be ready on Thursday, and then hopefully we can keep going from there. Regionals I don't think isn't too tough, so hopefully we can place well there and get our whole team going.
This tournament's always a good gauge going into our league tournament on Thursday. I feel like our kids get some confidence here playing at home and kind of get us ready for that tournament down. And it's going to be at Fort Hays this year, the 18-hole course. So it'll be a challenge. There's 4 or 5 teams that can win the league championship this year, and hopefully we can pull it out.
For PTV, this is Samantha Pruitt.